Welcome to Top 5, a show where we count things down from number 5 all the way to number 1. Seems like we haven't done one of these in a while, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. And this week, a topic that you all are going to weigh heavily on, because we're talking about the top 5 snacks you associate with geek culture. Top 5 snacks you associate with geek culture, not Greek culture.
Dang it. I was like, oh man,
no
I've got
olives, no olives, no fig leaves. Yeah, none of that stuff. Okay. This is geek culture. And Rodrigo Lopez, I'm curious what you have for your number 5 snack you associate with geek culture.
Yeah, this one was kind of tough for me because I guess I don't spend a lot of time thinking about snacks geeks eat. So mostly I thought about snacks that I hanging out with my friends who are huge nerds eat.
Yeah, huge nerds, geeks.
So that's yeah. Kind of that's the direction I'm going. So my number 5 is Pocky.
Yep.
I think that just by virtue of being Japanese, there's a section of geek culture that is like into it just for that reason. But as it turns out, it's like eating a delicious stick. So weirdly, that's something that is appealing. So yeah, it was introduced to me by a bunch of LARPers. Like that's the first time I had any. So I figure, yeah, definitely, at least in the US, it's definitely a geek culture. If not staple, then it's definitely in the periphery.
Yeah, what is your Pocky flavor of choice?
Oh man, I like them all. I wish that it was men's Pocky. I don't know if you've ever had men's Pocky. It's I think it's just like a slightly more bitter chocolate, but it's actually probably the strawberry kind, like the pink.
Oh yeah.
And it tastes more like a strawberry like shake than actual strawberries, but that's definitely good. So that's probably my favorite type of Pocky.
The boys will eat any of the Pockies. They like the green tea Pocky. They like the wasabi Pocky, but generally they're like chocolate Pocky kids. So
sure.
Yeah, I've just outed my kids as geeks. So moving on to my number 5, Totino's Pizza Rolls. You can't have a Friday night pile of movies from Rent-A-Center or Blockbuster unless you have Totino's Pizza Rolls as that snack, molten in the middle, cold on the outside. You and your friends can sit around for hours watching late night movies until your parents go to bed. And then you're like, oh, how did this adult movie find its way into our rental collection? So yeah, Totino's Pizza Rolls. I think that's pretty much a generalized kind of, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be Totino's, but I think most people, maybe they're the only ones that make pizza rolls. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen any other company besides Totino's. You can get them in the box or you can get them in a big bag. Those are the only times that I've seen.
I'm sure I've seen other brands of like pizza bread rolls. Pocket full of rolled.
I don't think I've ever seen like Kroger brand or Walmart brand, whatever the Walmart brand is. There's Good News or whatever it is.
Pillsbury brand that's pretty okay.
What brand is it?
Pillsbury.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
Just like the thing. Yeah, it kind of is. I don't necessarily care for it just as much, but it's a different texture in the crust. The crust of a Totino's has that perfect balance of like cardboard and graham cracker
and grease
to like keep it all together. Yeah, you need something with some heavy duty outer shell going on there.
Yeah. Pillsbury sounds like it'd be more like a crescent roll kind of. I don't know. I'm not a big Pillsbury fan for whatever reason, but if you like them, enjoy them. Matthew, what do you have for your number 5 geek culture snack?
This was a tough one for me too. Kind of like Rodrigo, except in as much as I'm like a super analytical person, but I don't necessarily think geek culture because I'm pretty much always soaking in it. So I had to think back, what was the first thing? And this actually takes me back to the far-flung year 1990. I had arrived at college, and I knew that there were other jerks who liked the weird stuff that I did. And there were people like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you brought your comic books to college." And I'm like, "Yeah, Stephen, they're cool."
Yeah, I had comics in my dorm room.
Yeah, there was a kid down at the end of the hall. His name was August, and August was a coder. He was like a computer geek, and he had taken a game that was just like a text-based thing, and it was kind of a Dungeons and Dragons adventure where you were represented by a little letter I, and you traveled through an ASCII dungeon, and you fought creatures. And if you saw a D, it was a dragon, and if you saw a capital D, you run, because that's a big dragon. But he had gone in and he had messed with the coding, and instead of having like your rations that you would get, you would find Twinkies and Dr. Pepper. So my number 5 is Twinkies and Dr. Pepper, the nerd food that was, I swear to you, 60% of this man's diet. But it was the only thing that you would eat while you were in the little ASCII dungeon in your computer that has, less computing power than the keys to my car now. But I think about that and I'm like, yeah, I don't like Twinkies. I don't like Dr. Pepper anymore. But at the time, it was like the be-all, end-all of nerd food.
Yeah, very cool. All right, we are moving up the charts to our number 4s. And Rodrigo, what do you have for your number 4 snack that you associate with geek culture?
My number 4 is less so something that I've had a lot, although I've had some, and more something, because I was thinking, like, are there iconic, like, nerd or geek culture foods? And I kind of kept going back to, like, a pink frosted jelly donut, or like a pink frosted donut, not jelly donut, just the one with a hole in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think
Homer Simpson.
that, because the Simpsons are themselves basically this enormous text, right? There are definitely Simpsons geeks. So first off, there's that. And I want to say that other random things also have like pink donuts as their thing. Like I think Smosh, like pink donuts are a thing. And I think maybe in Fortnite, separately from the Simpsons, pink donuts are a thing. But maybe it's because
Steven loved them too. Steven Universe.
Yep, Steven Universe, sure.
I thought he liked those kitty cakes or whatever they were.
He does
cookie cats.
The cookie cats,
yeah.
He left his family behind. But I think there's something iconic about that pink frosted donut with sprinkles that keeps calling to really probably just animators, or people that are designing like something that's supposed to look like cute and fun, and it's like, you know what, super cute and fun, a pink jelly or like a pink sprinkled donut.
Yeah, if you get a chance, they're not all over the place. There used to be one in Wichita. I don't see it listed on the site anymore, but you need to find a place called the Hertz Donut. From the joke Hertz Donut, and they're special, and that's from the Simpsons joke. But they have a cookie or a donut that is called the Homer Simpson. And it is that donut that you can eat. Of course, it's like the size of a spare tire and has like 1 billion calories in it. But donuts.
Donut.
Yeah. They used to come here to Hayes every once in a while to do a promotion thing. But I haven't seen them forever. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can ever find a Hertz donut, look for the Simpson donut. So there you go. Very good. Rodrigo, my number 4 snack that I associate with geek culture is M&M's. Always, if you're around the gaming table, whether you're playing, a real board game or if you're playing Monopoly, there's usually some M&Ms scattered around the table or in a bowl. It doesn't matter if they're peanut or plain or Rice Krispie flavored or whatever the different M&Ms that are out there. But I always seem to remember M&Ms being a part of a game night. So that's why my number 4 is M&M's. Matthew, what do you have for your number?
Your food. My number 4 is one that annoys me, and it came from a cartoon, much like Rodrigo's number 4. And for me, it's not the turning point where I stopped like eating the food the way that I used to. But it's one of the turning points. And my number 4 is McNuggets, thanks to that damn Szechuan sauce episode of Rick and Morty.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, I've come around on Rick and Morty. I really have. I've watched most of the Rick and Morty, and I appreciate and understand the draw. But I also understand that part of the draw is that you're supposed to feel like you're the smartest person in the room. That's not the point. I'm also very, very old. I remember Mulan Szechuan sauce, and it was terrible. It is not as good as the classic hot mustard. It's not even as good as the standard, glow in the dark pink stuff that they call barbecue sauce. It was okay. It was fine. But at a certain point, everybody was crazy for the Szechuan sauce. And I can't remember. It felt like it was about the same time as the bacon that had been everywhere was starting to like taper off. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're back up with the Szechuan sauce. But the McNuggets are great. They have, and I'm going to sound like Steven here, they've made them smaller and they've made them worse. And most of the time when he says that, it's actually true. But the thing about McNuggets that I've noticed the last few years, and I don't know if it's the medication I take for weight loss, if it's being in my 50s, if it's just, my taste buds have changed. They taste really bitter and not particularly good. And I can't eat the McNuggets the way I used to. And so I blame it on the Rick and Morty fans, even though it's probably just, my own advanced age coming back to slowly kill me a piece at a time. And that's why McNuggets are my number 4.
I tend to look at things like McNuggets or chicken tendies or, like a chip, not so much as the food that you're consuming, but more of a delivery system for what you
the vehicle
use it with.
For the right
yeah. So it's like, if you like the honey mustard sauce or the ghost pepper sauce or whatever, it's not that the nuggets have to taste bad. By the way, you can buy them in a 20-pack. It's 20 little bites of the hottest sauce. That's what you're coating it in, so that you don't taste the cardboard and the pink slurry that they make your nuggets out of. So
right, they've brought the classic hot mustard back, so I'll occasionally indulge in McNuggets, but I feel like I regret it at 2 a.m. the next morning when I wake up feeling like I'm being stabbed with fire on the left side of my chest. So,
yeah, there you go. We are moving again up the charts, and we are ready for our number 3 snack that you associate with geek culture. And Rodrigo, I am curious because we're getting ever closer to that number 1 spot.
Yeah. My number 3 is definitely something that I started having more as an adult, less like hanging out with like other geeks in high school and more like, hey, we've got like a small amount of disposable income. Let's like get dinner while we're like gaming or whatever. So I feel like I ended up getting a lot of onion rings. And onion rings are generally pretty reasonable. They're a little greasy, but they're not like the greasiest snack you can get or whatever. They're like, there's an onion in there, so that's ostensibly a vegetable.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just like we sit down and actually eat dinner, and then we start playing, and I have some onion rings left. So I do remember, like, while I was gaming, just munching on some onion rings. So it's like a good nerd memories there.
Yeah. Do you have fond memories of an onion ring from a certain place, or does it matter? Onion rings are onion rings.
I mean, it does matter, but I'll basically eat onion rings from any place. Like, I'm not picky, but definitely, I think I want to say like Red Robin has like onion rings that are like, very like thick and cooked like excellently, right? Like they're not overcooked, they're not like super fried to heck. And
they're not
so
all
it's
bread,
like
which is
it's like a really good eating experience. It's like these are fancy onion rings, but if you do give me something that's mostly like charred batter with maybe some onion residue inside, I'll probably still eat it.
Yeah.
That's called the Burger King.
Yeah.
Does Burger King sell onion rings?
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Burger King's onion rings are one of the things that they use to define themselves against McDonald's.
I thought the only places around here that sold onion rings were like Sonic, which are like, wow, the tater tots are much better than the onion rings. And then there's a mom and pop hamburger joint that's been here since the 80s, and they have some pretty good onion rings too. So
yeah.
But I didn't know about the Burger King. I think I haven't been to Burger King in like
is
4 or 5 years. So
you're not missing much.
That's what people tell me.
They do a thing now where they'll do halvesies where they'll give you fries and onion rings. So
no, they just don't. They just don't know how to separate them in the cooling rack.
Well, they'll give you.
It's like when you go to Arby's and you're like, oh, I want curly fries, and there's like 3 or 4 straight fries in there. It's like, no, you idiots just don't know how to separate your fries.
But that's the dream. You want mostly regular fries with a few seasoned curly fries. That's the dream, Stephen.
Ah, okay, all right. Well, the dream is my number 3. Hot Pockets. Who doesn't love a Hot Pocket? Again, just like the Totino's pizza rolls, cold on the outside, burning, melt your face off insides. I don't think when it comes to Hot Pockets, I don't think it really matters which one you get. I mean, certainly there's going to be that one friend in the group that's like, I only want the turkey and broccoli and cheese Hot Pocket, please, because that's healthy. And it's like, ham and cheese, broccoli and cheese and chicken, or the pepperoni pizza or the steak and cheese. They're basically all the same. And Hot Pocket, again, I haven't had a Hot Pocket in, probably a decade or more. Just because why? But yeah, they're still, I think, if you're got a bunch of geeky friends and you're hanging out, after the pizza rolls run out, you're going to crack into your mom's Hot Pocket stash. And you're gonna have a time of your life. So that's my number 3, Hot Pockets. Hot Pockets. Matthew, what do you have for your number 3?
The problem was your parents' microwave, Steve.
No, I don't know what it is, but it's like, even though you use that little, like, I don't think it really works. It's that little aluminum lined cardboard sleeve that you're supposed to heat your Hot Pocket into. Yeah. Man, I don't think those ever work because it's either super hot in the inside and cold in the middle or vice versa. And it's just like, ugh. I think the better way to do Hot Pockets, my kids will eat a Hot Pocket every once in a while, is to pop it in the air fryer as opposed to the microwave.
Sure.
Pop it in the oven because then you get a little bit more even cooking. But who wants to wait 20 minutes to Hot Pocket to finish in your oven when you can just pop it in the microwave for 33 seconds and have molten cheese burning the roof of your mouth for the rest of your life? I'm going to go for the burning roof of my mouth. So there you go. Matthew, what do you have for your number 3?
My number 3 is another one that I associated with geek culture for the wrong reasons. Not quite so much as the Szechuan sauce, but my number 3 is the Hi-C Ecto Cooler Real Ghostbusters flavor punch. Yeah. And it's another one of those where, in 1989, I existed. I was 18 years old. I was a fat kid. I would have no problem grabbing a thing of Real Ghostbusters Ecto Cooler and going, yeah, that sure was a vaguely citrus drink. It had a little grapefruit. It had a little lemon ? But I don't necessarily understand what about it made people just so heavily in love with it when it popped back around. Like in the early 2010s, there was this huge Ecto Cooler thing, and apparently, I thought they brought it back, but I don't.
Yeah, I think they brought it back for a short while.
Did they? Was it around the 2016? Was it around the Ghostbusters?
It must have
movie
been. I think it was probably a tie.
I don't know.
Thing.
I get it. I mean, I do. I understand. It's got Slimer on it. You remember the Real Ghostbusters? That's how most of us know about. That's how most of us know about Cthulhu. I mean, honestly. Had that one episode where the toilet monster tried to kill everybody. You had the moment where you could, explain to somebody how, but you could explain to somebody how Lorenzo Music voiced Garfield until they went to the movies when it was Bill Murray. But Bill Murray originally did the Venkman character when it came to movies, and then it was translated into a cartoon. Lorenzo Music took over. So they basically just switched roles in the 1990s. That's fascinating. Otherwise, it's just basically Hi-C fruit punch in a box. My number 3, Ecto Cooler. It's fine.
Never had it. Never had it.
Never.
I don't. There's like a bunch of foods that I've never had before. Like Pop-Tarts. It was not something that was an affordable snack growing up. So same way with any kind of a juice box or a juice pouch or anything. It was like, hey, you want to drink something? You can take bottled water, and if you don't want to take bottled water, look for a hose or a faucet at wherever you're going and just drink from that. So yeah, like Hot Pocket, I didn't even have I think I was out of high school when Hot Pockets were invented. Maybe, I don't know. So I could explore on my own. But yeah, there's a lot of the things like Totino's pizza rolls. Never had them growing up. It wasn't until I was in college that I had them.
Yeah, you didn't even know that pizza existed.
No, we would eat pizza at least once. At least once a month, we would go to this place in Ottawa, Kansas called Pizza Village. It's still there. It's a different owners and everything. But we would go after church and we would be able to eat pizza. But we didn't go to Pizza Hut. We didn't go to those because, support local. But I really thought that the Pizza Village pizza was really good pizza back then.
It was in the 2010s as well. I went there.
Yeah. It's still there. We were there a few years ago. The little square pizzas, Tony's pizzas. We would have those because my mom could buy like 4 of them for $1, and my sister and I could split one. It's like, oh yeah, here's this little 4x4 pizza. You and your sister can split that. Make sure you have an even sprinkling of little square shredded pepperonis on each half of your pizza. So yeah, a lot of times when you guys are talking about this stuff, it's like, nope, never had that stuff growing up. So we are at our number 2s of our snacks that we associate with geek culture. Rodrigo, what you got?
My number 2, I think, is probably the most widespread example of something that people associate with geek culture. And it's not my number 1 because I don't think it's as honestly funny as my number 1.
Okay.
But my number 2 is Cheetos.
Oh, Cheetos are my number 1, but only if you use chopsticks.
Yeah, I think Cheetos has like a really negative connotation of like geeky people like eating Cheetos and then having all the dust in their hands and like handling things and like wiping it on their shirts or whatever. So that's not great, but it's like I'd be lying if I said that I never sat through a game of D&D eating Cheetos. So it's kind of true. The stereotype is sort of there for a reason, but yeah, like Steven said, there are ways to prevent the Cheetos from permanently staining your character sheet.
Yep.
Although I suppose that's like a quick indexing rule. Like if you like Cheetos and your friends into barbecue chips, the game master can probably find your character sheets faster.
Yeah, there you go.
One, because there'll be like different stuff on them. So it's like, oh, the orange one's Rodrigo's, the like reddish one is like this guy's. And also because they'll probably be sticking together. So you can just pull them all out at once.
Yeah. Cheetos, but only if you use chopsticks are mine, just because you're right. It's kind of that thing. If it's not Doritos dust, it's Cheetos dust. It's the same company. It's the same product.
Sure.
So, I think that is your quintessential snack for any kind of geek, whether you're a video game geek, a board game geek, a skateboarder geek, although that's probably walking nachos or walking nachos are probably a skateboarder geek food. But yeah, Cheetos my number 1 in that case. So very good. My number 2, though, it's either or. I know some people have a preference for one over the others. Some hate one, some hate the other. But Twizzlers or Red Vines is what I have as my number 2. And depending on which ones you get, I don't remember if they're all hollow or not. But when I was a kid, I can't remember which one. You'd bite off the end and it's hollow all the way through. You bite off the other end and then you can poke it through your soda cup at the movie theater and then use it as your cherry flavored straw. That's what we did when we were kids. But yeah, it always seems like there's a bag of Twizzlers or Red Vines on the table, or that you see kids that are into anime or manga always chewing on one while they're watching. And I say this from experience, while they're watching their shows or reading their mangas. So yeah, Twizzlers Red Vines. I think they're up there as a snack that you kind of associate with geek culture. Matthew, what do you? Matthew, what do you have for your number 2?
My number 2 is another one of those that maybe it's just me. It might not be just me because Rodrigo had mentioned, the Cheetos. For me, Cheetos is always part of a Gilligan and the Skipper, a Batman and Robin, peanut butter and cheese, in that it's Cheetos and Mountain Dew. My number 2, Mountain Dew. At one point, I was working at a television station and I needed heavy caffeine, and I got kind of addicted to the Code Red Mountain Dew, which should tell you about when this was.
They still make it.
I know, but they don't make the Diet Code Red, and that's what I would drink because I don't drink full sugar sodas. I haven't drunk full sugar sodas since the 90s. It's just a thing. They taste too sweet. But I would get the big, like the quart-sized bottle of the Mountain Dew Code Red. For a while, I would get the Diet Mountain Dew in the green bottle. And I know now they have like all sorts of weird niche flavors.
Man, my youngest is just like a Mountain Dew aficionado. Like, there's 13 different types of purple Mountain Dew, right? They're all a different flavor. They're all a different shade, and he knows every single one of them. You can tell when he's had a hard day because he gets in the truck when I pick him up from school, and he's just like, can we go and get a Mountain Dew? Just like this guy that's like ready to down a beer at the end of the day. And it's just like, we go to the local gas station and he will usually go get like a Slurpee kind of thing and have like 5 different types of Mountain Dew all mixed together. And I'm just like, kid, your insides must be messed up.
I mean, he's what, 15? He'll be fine for another 10
years. He'll be 15
years.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, kids can take it.
Yeah. It's regenerating his stomach lining. Honestly, he's probably using the sugar to just power his regenerative powers. But I don't even understand it because the thing about it, Mountain Dew's great. Back in the day, I loved Mellow Yellow. Before Mellow Yellow was just another Mountain Dew. It tasted like a carbonated lemon.
Squirt.
Yeah. But Squirt, there's like 5 or 10 different ones out there. Sprite, all of these that are in that Mountain Dew adjacent category. None of them ever quite hit it for me. And I know Sprite is kind of more of a knockoff of 7-Up, but even so, if it's kind of green and kind of fruity and you don't know what fruit it is, it's great. Supposedly, I don't know if this is a thing that actually happened, but they were talking about making Cheeto-flavored Mountain Dew.
I want to say that
Mountain Dew flavored Cheetos.
I want to say that was a thing. I want to say he tried it. So this would have been a couple of years ago. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I seem to have this vague recollection of me seeing it in the cooler. I brought it home and said, you guys are going to try it because you bought the Mountain Dew Cheetos. I think they tried it and said it was meh, and we only bought the one bottle. So
yeah. Like Mountain Dew flavored Doritos, I think I could get with a sweet Dorito because it's basically just corn slurg shaped into a triangle. But I feel like a savory cheese soda might be a yard too far. Either way, if anyone knows where I can get in the northeast Kansas area, quart Code Red Diet Mountain Dews that aren't 17 years old, feel free to hit me up. Send a message to podcast@rangerspoilers.com. I don't know. Anyway, that was my number 2. How you guys doing?
All right. We are ready for our number 1s. I've already shared mine. Cheetos, but only if you use chopsticks. Rodrigo, what is your number 1 snack that you associate with geek culture?
My number 1 snack is at number 1 because it's widely known as a meme. Like Pocky, it also kind of exists in where it is because it just happens to be Japanese, and it happens to be something that Japanese people, I think, eat a lot, and so it makes its way into lots of anime. But the funniest instance of this thing was during the early days of the Pokemon anime, where the protagonists are given some delicious onigiri or rice type cakes. But of course, the translators are like kids are not going to know what this is. American kids have never heard of rice. So Brock says, wow, jelly donuts. These are my favorite. Right? Even though they're like clearly these like white triangular things with like a little seaweed, like, square to it, like classic Japanese rice cakes, right?
Yeah.
And so like I'm pretty sure this is a memory that I might have like constructed, but I'm pretty sure that I watched that episode and I didn't know that they were called onigiri, but I was enough of a weeb back then already that I had seen anime that just had rice cakes. Like they just have them. Right. And I'm like, you need to trust the kids Pokemon, like for kids entertainment or whoever's translating this. Like they can just like the kids can just deal with like a rice cake. Like even if they've never heard it, all that's going to happen and they're going to turn around and tell their dad, "Hey dad, what's a rice cake?" And then their dad will hit them. No, don't do that. Okay, for kids. I get what you were going for. Maybe it's for the best. I resent that.
Very good, Rodrigo. Thank you for that. Matthew, what do you have for your number one?
I hate it when he does that to me. I got to end the show here. And he's like, number. So I'm old. And my number one is, at least in part, because I'm old. I was born in 1970, which means that when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arrived on the scene, I was 11 or 12. I was the perfect age for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is why my number one is and will always be pizza. But it has to be stupid pizza. It has to be like, clams and tobacco or like something where you're like pepperoni and electric mushrooms. The thing about the pizza to where, it literally became at one point a weapon where you would buy an action figure and the pizza or the shuttle, the van that they drive. What is their thing? The turtle van.
The turtle van,
would fire pizzas at people. And I'm like, first of all, Michelangelo would not fire pizza at you. That is just a waste of precious resources. The boy lives in a sewer. He would fire manhole covers at you because those are a renewable resource. Pizza is a problem. But also, I feel like if you are anywhere in the turtle age, which is probably, if you were 12 between about 1981 and about 1997, you're a turtle age. If you're in that turtle age, if you say pizza, somebody is going to be like, radical, bossa nova, because pizza is for turtles and turtles are for pizza. And I know that thousands of dead pet turtles are out there somewhere because someone tried to feed them exclusively pizza. And that's just bad parenting. Not as bad as Rodrigo's bad parenting.
Probably the radioactive sludge probably is what really killed him.
I mean, I live in Kansas, man. You can get by on radioactive sludge. I've been glowing in the dark for years.
I've actually always had this theory that pizza was like around, obviously. There was like showbiz and other stuff, but like the Ninja Turtles really like rose the stock of pizza because it was like this recursive thing where they were like, the Ninja Turtles eat a lot of pizza because like kids eat a lot of pizza. But because they were so popular, they made pizza even more popular. So I don't know. I'd have to do research, and I hate doing that. So
yeah, you probably ought to look at the Pizza Hut tie-ins from the from the late '80s, early '90s, and see. That's where you would see it, right? Because I don't think Little Caesars would have had enough money to do that. Domino's was still brand new and was trying to avoid the Noid.
But that's what I'm saying,
Pizza
right?
Hut.
It's like maybe. Because maybe there are so many pizza chains and stuff like that because like the market for pizza opened up so much.
I would say there may be something. Thesis, I think that he has a point, and I think it may be part of a cultural shift because as a half-awake consumer of pop culture, I can tell you that in the 60s and 70s, when you say shorthand for the kids want to eat it, they would say hamburgers.
Yeah.
But around the 80s, it started being all pizza. All the kids were like, oh, yeah, we're going to go get some pizza. You guys want to get some pizza? Oh, man, we're going to get some za. I think that it's part of a cultural shift. I don't know if the Turtles are responsible for it, but I would say they're definitely part of it.
Pizza conspiracy, you guys should number 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like US,
the
US
pizzas,
like
the Chuck E. Cheese's in the 80s and all of that aimed at those kids, the kids our age, Stephen.
That's spun out of a different showbiz and stuff, and Chuck E. Cheese spun out of a different thing, not related to the Turtles. But
pizza, like, and that predates the Turtles, right?
Yeah.
Or was it around the same time? Yeah. No, it makes sense, right? Yeah. So it makes sense that pizza is this thing that's aimed at kids. Like your Eastman and Lairds are like, what do kids? I don't even know if like the original comics even cared about pizza that much. But definitely by the time the cartoons and the movies come out, it's like kids eat pizza. The Turtles are kids, so they need to be like wacky about pizza, right? So it's like there might be this like stock.
It would definitely be a
pizza,
recursive
like
thing.
continuum that starts taking off in the 80s.
I think you're right, because I know that the show business kicked off in 1980, and I want to say Charles Entertainment Cheese was shortly after that. I want to say that showbiz came first, but even so, I think that the Turtles were definitely a part of putting that into the pop culture, putting that into like the sociological thought processes of, hey, we're kids eat pizza. We should go eat pizza, and then we can, play whack-a-mole and jump around and climb into that thing where other children probably vomited today, which is not necessarily where you want to go.
Again, I know that from experience. Yeah, no.
I don't even.
Anyway, listeners, what is on your list of snacks that you associate with geek culture? There's an easy way for you to share your thoughts, and that's by joining the Major Spoilers Discord server. Join the server for free. There's a link in the show notes. And you can jump into the Top 5 channel and share your thoughts about the top 5 snacks you associate with geek culture. Because why? Everybody loves a list. Top 5 is a production of Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC, and is produced by me, Stephen Schleicher. If you have any suggestions or ideas for future Top 5 topics, make sure you head over to our Discord server. Share your thoughts there.
This podcast is copyright 2026 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.